6 seconds. That's how long a typical recruiter will take a look at your resume to select or reject it. It's exactly like Tinder. One look at your profile, and if it's not impressive, left swipe. So the game, boys and girls, is how to make sure that your resume stand out from the thousands of profiles out there. Let's get started. The timestamps are mentioned on the screen, so feel free to jump to a section that resonates with you. Now I am assuming that as a fresher, by now you already have one resume created. Whether it's a rip-off from a friend of yours or it's a random template that you took off the internet. Let's keep that resume aside and we will use it for comparison on what you create at the end of this video. In this video, I will explain the thought process required to create a solid, sellable resume along with practical tips on how to create it. We will build each section by section as we go along, and then we will put the entire thing together. Watch with me, pause this video where you have to take notes and build your resume as you go along with me. And I can promise you that within the next 1 hour, you will have a solid, sellable resume ready, which will put you in the top 5% of fresher resumes out there. Why do I say that? Because in my 20 years of career, I have personally looked at thousands of profiles and I can spot a good resume from a bad one. If you want to be in the top 1%, I have a section called Super Creative and you can go through that as well. But let me warn you, super creative, top 1% takes top 1% talent and hard work. Let's jump in. Franklin Covey said in his bestseller book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Habit 2 says, begin with the end in mind. In our parlance, it means who will consume my resume and what are they actually looking for. There are 3 actors here. Number 1, ATS or Automated Tracking Software. And the only way an ATS works is it looks at the skills and the keywords in the job descriptions and matches it to your profile. So as long as you can do a word-to-word, one-to-one matching, you've cracked ATS. We'll talk about it as we go along. The second actor is the recruiter. He or she is the person who's spending those 6 seconds on your profile and taking a call. The third actor is the hiring manager. That's the person who's spending a little longer on your profile and taking a call whether you're worth calling for an interview or not. Let's start with the first human touch, the recruiter. Given that they're only looking at your profile for 6 seconds, what would you have them read in the first 6 seconds? That should be your biggest achievement, your crowning glory, right? Now, the question is, how do you figure out what your crowning glory is? Let me give you some examples and you'll get the idea. Did you go to a prestigious college and got fantastic grades there? Did you build an award-winning project? Did you win a hackathon? Did you publish a research paper in an international magazine of repute? Do you have a patent? Do you have a blog or a YouTube channel that talks technology and is related to the job that you're applying for? Or anything else that's being worthy of being called a crowning glory? If you don't have anything to write, leave it blank. Omit this section. But take up a challenge that in the next 2 to 3 months, you will create your crowning glory. Because this is important. This is your Tinder swipe moment. So participate in hackathons, write something, start a blog, make sure it gets talked about, work on this stuff. Like they say, if not this, what? If not now, when? Let's do a fun experiment here. Go back to the first 5-10 seconds of this video and see the pace in that video. That's called the hook in video editing terminology. That's called the first impression. If I can do that, so can you. Focus on the crowning glory. Let's look at the next section called basic details. It starts with your name. If you have a long and a difficult Indian or a European name that's difficult to pronounce, it's probably a good idea to give your short name as well. My name, Savinder Puri, slightly difficult for some people. I like to add Savvy there. It's easy to read, it's pronounceable. Email ID. Now, all of us have created weird email IDs when we were in college. But for a profile, you need a serious sounding professional email ID. ninjacoder@gmail.com or cuteprogrammer@outlook.com and going to cut it. So spend some time and create a professional email ID, name, last name, something like that. Now, if you have a common name like a Jim Smith or a Prakash Kumar, you're probably not going to get it. So a good idea is to probably add your city, your college, your current date, not your date of birth, and get creative with it, but still stay professional. You get the drift. Phone number, accurate phone number, and the primary phone number that you're reachable at. You don't want to give a second or a third number that you might have where you're not reachable when that elusive phone call comes. Social media profiles, not your Tinder, not your Facebook thingy. This is your LinkedIn profile. And if you don't have a LinkedIn profile as a fresher, that's a blunder you've made. Pause the video, take a note to create your LinkedIn profile immediately after seeing this video. Because LinkedIn is how professional people know that you exist in the world. Let me know if you want me to create a video on how to create a rock solid LinkedIn profile in the comments. Outside of LinkedIn, if you have a good Stack Overflow profile or a GitHub profile which is maintained, which you regularly work on, please mention that as well. That's the proof of the pudding. It makes your resume go to the next level. If you're applying for a digital marketing role or something which is more creative, then you can probably mention your Instagram ID or your Twitter ID, assuming you put content related to the profile that you're putting at. Things you do not need to mention in your basic details, your home address. In today's world, nobody's coming home to deliver you the offer letter. Not required. Things like your marital status, your religious affiliation, your date of birth, etc. Not required. If they need it, they will ask it from you. That completes the basic detail section. Next section, you have to choose between education and achievement. Which one goes first? The one that's better for you goes first. For example, if you're thinking education and you don't have good marks from senior school to senior secondary school, from 10th, 12th standard, right all the way up to graduation, think hard. If you dropped marks during your 12th standard but picked them up during your graduation, you probably have a story to tell. Something like, hey, when I got into graduation, I got serious because I knew it was a make or break and I got better grades. Anything with a convincible story can sell. So if you decide on the education section, degree, name of the institute, your GPA and year of passing. Now the next section, the accomplishment section. First of all, don't be afraid of the accomplishment or the experience section. I know it can be scary for a fresher, but I'll help you along. I'll give you a list of headings and then topics under each heading, and you pick the heading and one or two topics that you can write something awesome about. Heading 1, the best heading. Internships done relevant to the position that you're applying for. Paper published in a reputed magazine. Contribution to open source community on a regular basis. The second one, reasonable heading. Certifications done. Certifications relevant to the profile you're applying for. Mini projects in each semester. The project should have the skills that are there in the profile that you're applying for. Any project that you've built on your own with the skills that match the job that you're applying for. Desperate heading. Any volunteer work done. Any technical clubs that you run or you attend. Any technical conferences that you have run or you attended. If you've done tuition for kids, it tells the interviewer that you're a committed person. If you've worked in MACD part-time to pay for your education, it tells the interviewer that you have the zeal to get the job done. For each heading picked, list the following: title, name of the hackathon winner; description, 4th edition of the hackathon organized by XYZ; impact, stood second in the hackathon with over 5,000 participants. That's all you need, 3 lines for each of the topics that you select. You put things in this format and your resume becomes a game changer because it has numbers, it has impact even. If you had to pick from the desperate section, you have a problem, my friend. Think hard about how you even got to this stage. Once you have the internal realization, make a plan to break this in the next 3 to 6 months and start working the plan from tomorrow, not from Monday, not from the next year. Like they say, if not this, what? If not now, when? Alright, so let's take a look at the sections that we have populated so far. You probably have all these sections ready with you. Basic details, the crowning glory, the education, the accomplishments, and the skill sets. If you have all these ready, let's go to the next part. Now it's time to structure all this information and put it in a resume format. Please, please, please don't go to Google Docs and download the resume format. There are millions of resumes in the same freaking format there. This is the time to put in the grind work, the effort, because this is what will make or break your resume. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a list of websites which have very good resume formats, and you can use this as inspiration and pick a format that speaks to you, that you resonate with. Another very good resource is this website, and when you click here under the creative resume builder section, you have the resume action words.